If you're a Christian, never ever do this. All right, VYG, so we're back with another tip. And this tip is called Just. That's right, it's called Just. And this is all about a big mistake I see a lot of young Christians making. And it's when they justify themselves. So let's say you meet up with someone who doesn't share your faith, and they start to quiz you or question you about things that you do and don't do. A lot of Christians get very nervous and they start to justify themselves as if they're in the wrong. Now let's just think of a courtroom scene. You've got the prosecution, you've got the defense. Now when the defense knows they're guilty, a lot of people, they put their trust in really good lawyers, especially if they've got enough money to pay for one. But if they know they're guilty, when they go there, in the back of their head, there's nervousness. Their whole court process is just them trying to justify themselves, especially if there's enough evidence as to prove that they really have committed that crime. Now, if you're a Christian, you're not in that position. You don't need to justify yourself like you're doing something wrong because you don't do certain things that a lot of other young people do. You're right. You're right. Doesn't mean you're better than anyone else, but you are in the right. So don't justify yourself. Don't feel like you have to always give like a deep reason or give paragraphs and essays as to why you live the way you do. Because again, I repeat, you are right. If you're following Jesus completely, you're right. And that's the first part of this tip. Now, the second part of this tip goes for those of you who are not right, but you still wear the tag of a Christian. Now, my advice to you is to not do things that need justification. Now, what does that mean? Simply, you have to make sure that every choice you make isn't going to be something that's either like this, on an edge. Like, you've got sin, clear sin, and you go as close to sin as possible. You have to avoid doing that. And also, of course, goes without saying, you need to just avoid sin completely. I get asked a lot things like, oh, Pastor, is this type of clothing acceptable? Is it all right for me to speak like this or go to these types of places? Now, most of the time, if you're asking that, it's because you are doing something that is going to require you to justify yourself. You're going to get DM'd, you're going to get called up, people are going to text you, whether they're Christians or not Christians, and they're going to be asking you, and you're already preparing a justification. Well, I dress like this because, the Bible doesn't say this is a sin. Forget that. Forget that. You're not supposed to live like that. You're supposed to live in such a way where you have peace and freedom, where the Bible itself is going to back you up, where Jesus himself is going to back you up. Simple example. If one day someone comes to me and says, look, why do you go out and tell people about Jesus? I have justification. Whether it be in the book of Mark at the end where Jesus tells people, his disciples, to go out and preach the gospel, and several other examples as well for you to read about. And if you're not living in that way and you're called a Christian, if I can open up the Bible and go from cover to cover and not find something that backs up your actions, you know what you should do? Throw those actions away and be just. You can watch this back again and again to make sure it really sinks in. And until next time, VYG, make sure you apply this tip and soon you'll become the youth that you're always meant to be. Take care.